So, it's kind of on my mind. I want to talk about how I still don't think AI is as bad as people say it is. That being said, there were a few factors that could have made me, if I were sort of weaker, not okay with AI, but I'm not judging anybody who's not okay with AI or okay with AI if they feel like they have a good reason for either one. I think it's important to get to know yourself. I'm not gonna say everything that I know about it in a way, but sort of people want to either love AI or like criminalize AI. And people use certain companies that are creators of AI or like facilitate AI as the reason you should never be okay with AI. A few examples, there's the whole thing like, don't you want there to be clean water on the planet, like drinking water? Don't you want there to be drinking water? Don't you want there to be drinking water? Like, oh my god, you want us all to die because they're not drinking water. Okay, the other one, which I wanted to take a long time to figure out, like, people, I don't want to ever be dismissive, and I'm not, but like so many layers to it. It's not always about whether we have drinking water. It's not always about, oh, this CEO has this kind of personality, and like if you support the company, that means you're on their side about this and that. And it takes so much time to think of like the right way to address it and talk about it, but then it's like I could just not talk about it, or I could talk about it. Sometimes when there's a new invention on the planet, the idea and the resources go to like, sometimes some of the worst people on the planet, sometimes, maybe very rarely, some of the best people get an idea and resources at the same time. So it's just weird to talk about. Like, yeah, I don't know why I'm making this video, right? But I'm like, as much as I have been enjoying using AI, some of the worst people ever were the creators of it. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a right to use AI, which just makes you look like a terrible person. But I don't know how to explain it. Essentially, to some people, I think I would look like a terrible person for using AI. And, you know, maybe they would be right, but I'm not like setting out to be a terrible person. I don't feel like I am, but like I just hear so many stories and then I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is, you can never open a door and say something like, oh, I don't know if this is fine, because then people think you mean to, by their standards, is it fine? That's not what I mean. I never meant like, is it fine by your standards? I meant finding my own standards for it's not about drinking water, it's more like, for example, one of the CEOs, I think it might be, or one of the, I think all the companies have multiple CEOs, but one of the people on the board, I guess, of like ChatGPT had a lawsuit involving like sexual assault, or like, I don't know. The lawsuit was saying, like, it was like his own sister. So the lawsuit was saying, like, oh, he did this and that to his own sister. So obviously, when you support AI, it does not mean this exact man did that to his sister and everybody should be fine with it. Like, that's not what I want to be clear. That's not the message I'm ever trying to put out by, like, being willing to use AI at some point. That's not the same thing as the fact, again, if someone does that, they should be in jail for the rest of their life. If it's true, he should be in jail for the rest of his life. So that is not the reason I use AI. Obviously, but if people need help with that, then I'll say that. That's not the reason I use AI. That's not the reason I think it's okay or good or fine if people are willing to experiment with that, which I don't think it's bad if people use AI for that. Not for, oh my gosh, I think you know what I mean. I want to say I don't condone you guys abusing people or abusing your family or abusing women, especially if you're a man, but in general, all sexual assault is just not fine, not right. So again, you should be in jail for your whole life if you do it. So I want to be so abundantly clear, that has nothing to do with me using AI. If anything, that was a reason why I considered not doing it, but I already have so many projects I'm working on where I was willing to like use AI already, so I didn't want to force myself to not work on something that I feel passionate about, but I want to be very clear that so that nobody thinks that's something I was okay with. And again, it's probably true because people's sisters do not just randomly say that about them. So, yeah. So it's not like, you know what I mean? There's no sides. It's not like, what side are you on? What side are you on? Like, there's not sides. It's just, again, if a man does that to his sister, he should just be in jail for the rest of his life. So that part is obviously non-negotiable. If it means obviously, the company should have him, like, not be there, and then he could be in jail for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are just things that I believe there should always be, not just like, oh, she's suing him, but like it should be like he's in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, that part is so, like, his job was fine with that or something. I don't know. Or they didn't believe it or whatever. They pretended not to believe it. I don't know. So, but yeah. So it makes it a weird situation to be willing to use AI, but we don't get to choose if, like, sometimes the really great ideas are handed to really terrible people. And if we had to cut out every single idea, like if you could never use a product that came from somebody who had some kind of victims, sometimes that would be like, oh, you can't use deodorant again. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because AI is deodorant, but like sometimes, I'm only saying sometimes the people who have power to force their ideas to go somewhere have money to escape the allegations on them also. So some of it would be like, you just can't use chapstick ever again your whole life, or you're supporting abuse. And like, that is so not what anybody means by it. So, but there's always going to be people who are like, well, if you're so willing to use it, like, that means you support it. Like, so I just wanted to come on here and say, for anybody willing to believe that I do not support it, that I do not support abuse. Obviously, I do not support any kind of sexual abuse, any kind of physical abuse. I do not support sexual harassment. I don't support people looking at their family in a sexual way. I do not support people using their money or power to escape allegations that they need to be on trial for. So, yeah, a lot of people or men with a lot of money and power probably did whatever it was. Actually, sometimes women too. Probably a lot of women out there too. So, if they have money and power, they probably did a lot of what the allegations are. And then they're just like using money to get out of it, using like power or secrets or shame to like get out of it. So I want to be very clear. So nobody thinks that I was ever okay with that, or that that was the reason why I would have wanted to ever use AI. So, but it's also like people have such like I don't know how to explain it. You could choose to not believe me. You could choose to not believe me and be like, well, that on top of not wanting us to have drinking water, and then you could just decide that's like what I was fine with, and that is your free will. But for anybody who was curious about what I would actually say about it, it's that I don't support any form of sexual abuse, sexual harassment. I don't support people doing that. I actually think they should be in jail if they're doing that. And yeah. Oh, and their family, they should not be looking at their family that way at all. They should be, I think people should be in jail if they're willing to do that degree of incest. His sister, that's so bad. You know what I'm saying? And they were also saying in the lawsuit, like, to raise awareness about it, like, you know what I'm saying, that he was an adult and she was a minor and stuff, and his sister. So yeah, I wanted to say that's not okay, and he should be in jail again, or on trial if they think it's not true or something. I don't know, but I think it's probably true, because again, sisters don't really say that about their older brother or whatever. Like, no one does that. So anyway, I have a lot of reasons for using AI that do not have to do with some random old white man who's supposed to be in jail for whatever he did to his sister. So that's on the company that they are still willing to like keep his employment or anything. And so I personally wasn't going to blame you for, again, like the CEO of your chapstick company if they did something to their sister, or I was going to blame the man who did it, or, you know, if in the case of it being a woman who did it, then I was going to blame the woman who did it. I wasn't going to blame you for having access to resources that you deserve to have access to. That's how I see it. Some people see you as sort of an extension of a company's choices. A lot more often, I believe the person who did it is the one who should be in jail for what they chose to do. If they chose to have victims, I believe the person who made that choice is the one who should be in jail. Again, when that doesn't happen, then the whole planet wants the people who are willing to use whatever resource that person went on to create, because that was a million years ago when he did that, of course, and they just let this man walk free and all that, so because of money and power and stuff. So yeah, I just want to say that it's obviously not normal, and I don't know, if you walk into a Target or if you buy a drink from a Starbucks, I wasn't going to say that you personally are the reason why maybe the CEO of that company decided to have like victims at some point or something, right? So I was going to want the person who made that choice to be held accountable. Obviously, again, if any of that's even speculative, he should be on trial. And then if it's true, he should be in jail, in prison. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if you choose to use AI, I was never going to, I'll say this too, I personally was never going to say, oh, that if you decide to use AI, I was never going to say to you that you don't want there to be drinking water on the planet, or that you support sexual abuse, or any kind of like physical abuse or abuse in families. I was never going to say you personally decided that was fine. I was going to see that individual person who made that choice as the one who's wrong for it, not you if you weren't not the one who did it. So I don't know if that helps, but you guys all make choices of how you want to see each other, and the world's going to be super divided on the issue. A lot of people just believe you shouldn't use AI because it means you either don't want clean drinking water or you support sexual abuse. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's never what I would say about myself at all, for a million reasons, but also that people have the free will to see you any way they want. But I just wanted to tell you guys what I believe, and maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't do anything. I love you guys, bye.